Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to COD Zombies HQ, where we've got new updates from the leaking community, and most surprisingly of all, from Treyarch themselves, about the Sasquatch, the Loch Ness Monster, the UFO of the Zombies community, the long-rumored, much-anticipated Zombies Chronicles 2 expansion. This is the first flare-up of news about the mythical expansion since early August, when Tom Henderson, a prominent and credible leaker within the gaming sphere, posted up an article about the development about Zombies Chronicles 2, stating that the remastered maps likely to be included in this pack, that being Die Rise, Transit, and Buried, have been mostly completed and ported to the Cold War Zombies engine, but Activision and Treyarch haven't found the appropriate way to monetize and release it yet, theorizing all the way back in August that it's going to take the negative reception, the absolute crash of Vanguard and Vanguard Zombies in order to convince Activision to release the content, thus inspiring memes like this that we saw at the release of Vanguard Zombies when it turned out to be an absolute flop. But now here in December, the first of the two updates regarding Zombies Chronicles we have comes from Treyarch themselves, specifically the lead game designer over at Treyarch, Kevin Drew, who made two specific comments about ZC2 over on Twitter, where a Twitter user responded to one of his tweets saying, if you read the comments, you can see that everyone agrees that Zombies Chronicles 2 should happen in Cold War or Black Ops 3. In response, another user said, honestly, I wonder how the developers feel when they're flooded with this question in every tweet they make. It just must be exhausting. To that, Kevin responded, it feels like I want to give 10k to whoever can make Zombies Chronicles 2 and get these people out of my mentions. Now, I saw some people saying that this comment is proof that Zombies Chronicles 2 was never planned, it never existed at all, but it's far more likely that it was just a joke that went over their heads, and he was referencing a incident that happened recently where a YouTuber offered up 10k to make a multiplayer mode for Zelda Breath of the Wild. And it seems like Kevin was picking up that a lot of people were missing the joke, when in a follow-up tweet to that, he said, let me be clear. Please keep asking for Zombies Chronicles 2. That passion and demand is what keeps the door open to the possibility of it. Just maybe don't ask me in my tweets about a painful situation at work regarding his expressions on the current state of Activision Blizzard and the controversies surrounding their workplace environment right now. A totally reasonable response, which kind of fits into what we've heard about the ZC2 mode, is that it's basically done, ported in Cold War, but Activision feels like either the demand isn't there for it, or they haven't found an effective way to monetize and when to actually release the pack. Furthermore, before we hear the latest about what leakers are saying about Zombies Chronicles 2, gotta give big ups to Kevin Drew once again. He seems to be the only active point of contact for the Zombies community that is pretty down in the dumps right now, that is starving for content, where all the other official Treyarch accounts are radio silent about the Zombies mode, even though we believe that this dev isn't actually involved in Vanguard Zombies at all, that Treyarch has split their Zombies development team in two, one working on Treyarch's next Call of Duty, and maybe like the B team working on Vanguard Zombies. To me, anything that keeps this community interested, engaged, and talking right now is a good thing, since the launch of Vanguard Zombies did a lot to hurt the trust in Treyarch and interest in zombies as a whole. Now, the status of Zombies Chronicles 2, according to the leakers, basically fits into what we've been hearing from back in August, where leaker COD Perseus over on Twitter just simply tweets out that Zombies Chronicles 2 is not scrapped as of yet, making Kevin's earlier comments about, hey, saying that there's demand for this mode, keeping that up so that Activision won't end up just scrapping all the content made for it already. Now, in terms of if we're going to see Zombies Chronicles 2 release soon, where players are hoping that within the coming year, with the failure of Vanguard Zombies at launch, that Activision will break glass in case of emergency and drop Zombies Chronicles 2, maybe not for Vanguard, but for Cold War, as a premium DLC package to hopefully build up a little bit more excitement and trust in Treyarch again since Vanguard Zombies has released, not to mention a revenue boost for a company that is hurting right now. However, we do have nothing definitive as to the release date of this pack, and that maybe they'll continue to port the content made for Zombies Chronicles 2, just kick it down the road a little bit, port it to the Modern Warfare engine, and possibly release it sometime within the next couple of years as part of Treyarch's next full COD release in 2023. There also has been some discussion about if Zombies Chronicles 2 does release, what content exactly is it likely to contain? Now, of course, it seems like the most obvious option is those 3 maps we talked about already. Die Rise, Transit, and Buried from Black Ops 2 would be remade, but that's only 3 maps compared to the 8 remastered maps we saw Treyarch release with the original Zombies Chronicles. You know that Activision will want to charge players a premium for the expansion, just like they did the first Zombies Chronicles, where it's likely that we'd see Treyarch adding perceived value to this expansion by adding more maps into the pack, with some of those added maps being re-releases of the remasters we saw in the original Zombies Chronicles, that being the remasters of the original World at War maps, Nacht, Shino, Numa, Verrückt, and Darius. And if that's the case, if that's what Activision is planning, it would go a long way to explain why in Black Ops Cold War, Treyarch used a whole bunch of recreated, upgraded versions of Nacht, remastering it nearly in full, but never released a standalone round-based version of that map. And now here in Vanguard, we have a fully remastered version of Shino Numa, where a lot of players want Treyarch to release a traditional round-based version of this map. We haven't had any indication that they're going to do so, and that might be because that the round-based version of this map is intended to be released with Zombies Chronicles 2, and they simply don't want to release that content for free. They want to keep it to the premium paid version in order for players to get access to play round-based Shino Numa in a updated, remastered environment. If that is the case, if they're saving round-based Nacht and round-based Shino for Zombies Chronicles 2, it would go a long way to explain why Treyarch didn't just release those 2 maps as a standalone, first in Cold War, then in Vanguard. It seems like an easy, quick fix to give players more content to keep them satisfied. The fact that they haven't done it yet probably means there is something we aren't being told about those 2 maps in round-based just yet. And part of me wonders if Treyarch refusing to release any round-based content within their latest game of Vanguard might end up being a strategy to help create demand for round-based content, so that when Zombies Chronicles 2 does eventually release, people will be more excited about it and be less fatigued from round-based maps that would have released throughout Vanguard's DLC season. But guys, that wraps up the news today. I want to thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed it, consider hitting that thumbs up button down below. Subscribe to the channel if you aren't already. Zombies Chronicles 2 is the Loch Ness Monster, the spooky ghost, the Sasquatch and UFOs of the Zombies community, but with Treyarch developers mentioning the mode, leakers still talking about it not being scrapped, we've got to believe that it's still out there and will be released one day, hopefully sooner rather than later. But I want to thank you again for watching, and I'll see you with another Zombies news video tomorrow. Peace.